We're going to launch our startup story for today. This is a startup story that comes to us not from Rhode Island, but we'll hear why in just a second. This is the story of Jarbly U with Jason Dodier, and he will be interviewed by Dr. as in Y, and they have just met a minute ago through the power of technology. So we're really excited to be able to host this in this informal way. For those of you who don't know, if you are interested in having your startup profiled, or your small business or your innovation, please send me an email. I'll drop my email in the chat and I'd love to talk to you. All right, Jason, if you want to take it away.
It's just blessed to be part of this community and have a chance to share a little bit more about Jarbly U, our background, what our ambitions are for the state, and more broadly speaking across the country and internationally. I guess I will turn it over to my interviewer so we can make sure she keeps me on track and I don't go over the allotted time slot today.
No worries at all. It is very, very nice to meet you. And thank you, Venture Cafe, Amy, Tony, and all of you for this opportunity to, to do this today. I'm truly excited about the opportunity. So I am Dr. Zwani, as everyone has said. I am a professor of entrepreneurship at Johnson & Wales University, and also the faculty consultant at the Entrepreneurship Center there. I am also the founder and executive director of Micro Enterprise Social Entrepreneurship. This is an organization that that has a vision to create an ecosystem of women and youth entrepreneurs in developing nations. So Jason, we will go right in. To start, the first question I have for you is, to tell us a little bit about Jarbly U and a little bit about what your business model is for now, which is very interesting. We just finished looking at business model canvas with Kino, so it kind of just works, into everything that we'll be talking about.
A pleasure to do it. And the heartbeat of the business model canvas is figuring out what is the job to be done, right? What is the audience that you're serving? And at the end of the day, right, Jarbly U came to fruition in a funny manner. My roommate from Bryant University in Rhode Island, freshman year, instantly became one of my best friends, started a company in his dorm room at Bryant called Jarbly. And essentially, a lot of it was around motivational speaking, health, wellness, app development, and he built that company up significantly over the years, looking at different elements where he could have a massive impact. And I took a completely different route. We'll go into that, moved overseas and have bounced all over the place, but continue to come back to Rhode Island. But last year we got together, and we're like, when the pandemic was starting to take into hold, and said, what can we really do to have an impact? We always talked about doing something together, and he built up a very strong platform. And we started basically doing podcasting around topics of interest or trying to unpack complex topics to help the broader audience maybe understand a bit more, and bringing on guests from all different backgrounds. And after 10 or 11 episodes, we realized this is exciting, it's encouraging, but it's not, you can't really build a business model around it, and we're not really solving an inherent problem. So we went to work and did a lot of diligence and research, and we came across that there's a major problem in this country around academic discovery, but also academic major selection. I don't know about everybody on this call today. I changed majors personally 3 times. We see a lot of anxiety and uncertainty among students today, and we wanted to create something that was going to allow for really discovery very early on, so that students could feel very confident, regardless if they go on for a 4-year degree or community college or right into the workforce, into trades, in trades roles. So that's really where Jarbly U, the vision came from, is to solve this major problem out there through very carefully crafted structure of discussions and technology.
Very good. Thank you very much for that in-depth information, and how the whole thing started. Thank you for that. So, moving on a little bit to talk about, what can the community, particularly the business community or the Rhode Island community, do to support your growth and the development of Jarbly U?
So right now, as I've talked to Tony about this a little and others, we're really at a stage where we want to test and validate and get good feedback. We are actively engaged with a couple of major universities. You may have seen some of the sites live where we're testing with schools like Virginia Tech and Montgomery College. but we really want to work more closely with Rhode Island, more broadly speaking, with some of the initiatives that date back to the innovation office. We're looking to help students early, middle school, high school, get access to computer science, technology, innovation, business. So our ask is really, we want to deploy strategically in the state to get access to students, and in particular students in disadvantaged communities that may not even have mentors, right? If you think about the opportunities we have in life, and even if you're fortunate enough to have parents that provide guidance, it's still good to get a third-party opinion in anything you do. So our ambition right now is we want to roll out and pilot and platform at a large scale in Rhode Island, so we get great feedback so that we can continue to hone our technology and content to provide a maximum impact to the broader community here in the state.
This is great, great to hear, knowing that we have lots of colleges here in Rhode Island, particularly. A lot of colleges and universities to choose from. This is great to hear. Thank you again. So you mentioned a few times now that you have connection to Rhode Island, and so we want to hear a little bit more about it. You also mentioned that you went to Bryant's. Another thing that we have in common, which I am so glad to hear, because I am also a Bryant grad. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about your connection to Rhode Island. And also I do know something about, you were a co-founder of an organization that we want to hear more about as well. So please tell us a little bit about that. The Fountainhead RI is that you are also a co-founder of that. So I want to hear all about that, including all about your connection to Rhode Island.
Yeah, I always get excited answering this kind of question. Because Rhode Island is where my heart and passion is. And truthfully, I never wanted to leave Rhode Island. I knew I wanted to go to Bryant when I was probably in middle school. I remember being so impressed by the campus. And freshman year, actually, what opened my eyes to the potential to travel internationally, my roommate was from Saudi Arabia. So that's when I really started to say to myself, wow, okay, if I could go overseas, get some experiences and bring that back to Rhode Island in a variety of capacities, wow, that could be really powerful. So I grew up in Rhode Island. Most of my family's still in Rhode Island. I live in New York City now for a variety of reasons, but I'm back to Rhode Island very frequently. And I'll explain the organization we co-founded about 7 years ago and a little bit more behind that and what we do in the community. But I ended up leaving Rhode Island at 23, to move to the Middle East. I moved to Europe. And the whole time I would send companies, they'd say to me, look, we're looking for a hub in the US. We're looking at the typical players, right? Boston, New York, San Francisco. I say, wait a minute, Rhode Island for all of these things is why is a place you need to go see. So I started to funnel people into Rhode Island. I actually helped Avi Neville organize one of the Israel, Rhode Island collaborative trips. I went to Israel with him a number of times, one of my favorite countries to travel to. But what really started the nonprofit that I co-founded with David Almonte called Fountainhead RI was really that thing. We'd send people to Rhode Island and they were looking to get connected with like-minded leaders in their field. And we thought this could be, we had a Jeffersonian dinner. We brought a bunch of, folks from different verticals, legal, finance, healthcare, right? And that's where Fountainhead was born. And I know a lot of you that are on this call have been to our events in the past. We used to do a lot of our panel events in person, but our mission really is, picking a handful of nonprofits every year in Rhode Island where we can provide support and guidance to help them grow, help highlight them. We put on different panels. Kino's been to a few of our panels, and we've had to adapt like everybody else to doing things digitally and remotely. But I'm very proud of that organization and where it's come. And it keeps me very close to what's happening in the heartbeat of Rhode Island on a weekly basis. So.
How awesome is that? A very proud Rhode Islander. I particularly liked the fact that you're like, we know that Boston is nice and New York is nice, but let me tell you about this little tiny state that can also give you what you're looking for. Very, very glad to and grateful to hear that. So I want to, speaking of, being a proud Rhode Islander and, and all the things that you've done in terms of bringing people here, what can we Rhode Islanders do to be a better fit for Jarbly U?
Yeah, I think it's what Rhode Island has always done, right? Is trying to be flexible and agile and helping with really rethinking, reimagining, right? We are all we all fall victim to our blind spots at times, right? It's very difficult to execute. And I always said, you know, Rhode Island could be an ideal state to deploy so many things if we could just get the right stakeholders together and help with rethinking. If those of you who haven't read Adam Grant's new book, Think Again, highly recommend it, because I'm using a lot of that, you know, the language there as we think through our business model and how we roll out. But Rhode Island is the optimal place to do many of these things. And we've had some discussions with our friends at Tech Collective and a few others. But I would just say to anybody on this call, if you know of educational institutions where you have those connections and we can roll this out seamlessly to do some testing. I mean, everything is baked, ready to go. We'd be beyond grateful for that, right? And it could be, you know, it could be at the university level if you think about Rhode Island College, or, you know, certainly University of Rhode Island, Salve Regina, but we're really more interested at the high school level, which is a little bit more complex because there's a lot of different channels and verticals to go there. So that would be the ask, is raising awareness, making sure the community has visibility into what it is we're trying to accomplish and achieve by giving students access to this material and allowing us the ability to kind of scale and tweak accordingly.
Very good. Well, Rhode Islanders, you have heard Jason. He has, you know, given out his ask. You know, we want this place to be a better fit for him. And so let's get to work. Jason, it has been wonderful speaking with you and learning more about Jarbly U and learning more about you and all that you've done. Thank you so much once again for this opportunity. And to Venture Cafe, thank you all so much for this opportunity as well. Thank you. I'm going to hand it back to Amy. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you both so much. That was great. And I really hope that there's a lot of people out there who look at the website and check it out and kind of do some digging, because it's a really great resource, not only just for people, like just for anybody who's kind of thinking about that career change path, but definitely for those college students who need that direction. And thank you, Ezenwati, always.